What the f***? Jeez! The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is one of the worst movies I've seen throughout this entire year. The story, the characters, just is terrible. Every single scene with Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy, and Spider-Man himself are all set up like a goddamn sitcom. And of course, feature totally lame jokes. It really doesn't help the movie at all that Spider-Man this time is just really annoying. In the last movie, he was just so insufferably smug whenever he was doing something that you just want someone to run up and punch him in the face. Here, he's so annoying every time he opens his mouth or does something, you want someone to run up and stab him in the throat. With an annoying protagonist and sitcom-style setup for just about every single scene revolving around Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Gwen Stacy, it just leads to the lead characters being boring and a chore to watch. To be fair, there is some good in the movie. The action scenes are actually really well done and are actually entertaining to watch. And the stuff with Harry Osborn and the conspiracy aspect with Oscorp and Harry becoming the Green Goblin and teaming up with Electro, that stuff's actually really compelling and actually interesting and fun to watch. It's just a shame it's not the focus of the movie. Instead, we're stuck watching a superhero who spends all his time making really annoying quips and one-liners. And not good ones either. Jamie Foxx plays Max Dillon, the guy who becomes Electro. Paul Giamatti plays the Rhino, and unfortunately I don't know the actor's name, but the guy playing Harry Osborn / the Green Goblin, they're all good actors. It's just a shame that their characters aren't the focal points of the movie, or in Paul Giamatti's case, he gets almost no screen time whatsoever. And it's also a shame that their characters are actually more interesting and actually have some compelling story arcs, or just character arcs throughout the whole film, and the majority of the time is spent watching an annoying character played by a guy who is actually being out-acted by, well, Paul Giamatti, the guy playing the Green Goblin, and Jamie Foxx. To be fair, though, Garfield is a decent actor, but these guys friggin' out-act him throughout the whole movie. And again, it really doesn't help his character is annoying. And it really doesn't help that Andrew Garfield, aside from looking like Robert Pattinson, has a scene that's actually reminiscent of Twilight, where he just spells out in webbing over a bridge, "I love you" to Gwen, and when he actually picks her up, he also says he's going to follow her to England. Yeah, sounds like a stalker to me, rather than, you know, someone who's actually in love with you. But hey, true love. Ugh. And there's something else, the story. In all honesty, it's not that well written. I mean, it actually explains why Spider-Man got his powers, why the spider bite gave Peter Parker the abilities that would lead him becoming Spider-Man. With Electro, we're given no explanation. We're told that in this tank for generating electricity, there's these genetically engineered electric eels. He falls in, he gets bitten by them as they electrocute him, and for some reason that turns him into a living conduit of electricity. With blue transparent skin, instead of killing him. And one other fairly good thing is actually Harry Osborn and the Green Goblin. Again, the stuff with him in the story is actually rather compelling and actually interesting to watch. Here's the interesting as well, like, Harry's suffering from the same genetic disease that's killed his dad, Norman Osborn. And he wants Spider-Man's blood, which actually has regenerative capabilities, so he could hopefully heal himself. Doesn't get it. Gets his hands on the remaining spider venom that gave Spider-Man his powers, injects it into him, and for some reason it accelerates the disease, but whatever. And he manages to crawl his way to one of these securely contained other experiments, and ends up in the Green Goblin suit and glider, which actually has life support systems that can keep him alive, and In all honesty, I actually had a problem with the fact this guy looked like a meth addict, but after seeing him actually act like a psycho and actually be intimidating, that's an estate choice I'm actually able to overlook. But all those good things really just can't save the film from having an unlikable main character, a story that for the most part is a chore to watch 2/3 of the way through because it focuses on its annoying protagonist, and it really doesn't help that the ending, where the Rhino, like the third villain they touted up in the advertising, when he finally shows up. When that happens, the movie reveals itself for what it truly is. A 2-hour-long trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man 3 and 4, and the planned spin-off films Sinister Six and Venom. This movie is terrible, alright? It is just absolute crap. Again, there is good in it, but what good there is cannot save it. Its story is poorly written, the protagonist is unlikable, and everything that's good in it is either bookended by sitcom-styled humour and crap, or is over too soon. 3 out of 10, awful movie, just don't do anything with it. In all honesty, like the scene on the bridge with the I Love You webbing, that actually made me beg for the tap dancing scene from Spider-Man 3.